Southwest Florida, welcome to Lee Pitts Live on Fox 4. We are Johnny on the spot here for the celebration of the 20th anniversary of McGregor Clinic, one of the most important clinics in all of Southwest Florida in terms of what they do with HIV and AIDS education and health care. They're the leaders in our community, so we're so thrilled to be here for the 20th anniversary celebration. We're on the red carpet. We'll be interviewing a lot of people will be coming through here today for this celebration. So without further ado, let's meet our first two guests. What's your name?
Siobhan Chester.
And how do you relate to McGregor Clinic, Siobhan?
I have the pleasure of being on the board of directors.
You seem like you're really excited about that. What are some things you guys try to implement on the board?
The McGregor Clinic is doing such exceptional work in our community, from the mobile testing unit to the education to the coffee talk support group. We are lucky to have the premier provider in our county be McGregor Clinic.
All right, we'll get back to you because you seem like you know your stuff. And what's your name, lovely lady?
My name is Marissa Gonzalez.
Now, Marissa, I see you on Facebook all the time. Every time I post something related to McGregor Clinic, there you are, there you are. You're a big supporter of McGregor Clinic. Tell us what McGregor Clinic means to you.
I am a huge supporter of McGregor Clinic, not only being a patient here, but I am now proud to say that I work with the prevention team.
Okay, and what does the prevention team do? What are some things you do on a daily basis?
So on a daily basis, you can find us assisting not only our clients in our food pantry or clothes closet, but we also pack condom packets to provide free to the community. We also do education in the community, and we provide free testing. When
you're moving around in the community, you get a chance to touch and feel and hear feedback from people and see people smiles on their faces too when you're saving lives through education. Tell us what that feels like personally and know that you're impacting the community.
For me, it's a huge impact. Just being someone who was considered newly diagnosed. I was diagnosed as HIV positive in 2016. So being able to pay it forward to the community and those that I do day-to-day work with it's a blessing.
Now, with you being diagnosed in 2016, I guess you would be wanting to say that it's very important that you know your status so that then you can come and get this help here at McGregor Clinic that can help you live a full life. Speak to that.
Absolutely. So McGregor Clinic is here to not only ensure that someone living with HIV is staying healthy, but we're also here to provide to the community that if you are negative, ways to continue to stay negative.
Okay. Now we're here at the 20th anniversary celebration. Big shout out to Alex for coordinating this. What's it like for you to be here at this historic moment for the 20th anniversary celebration? How you feeling?
I'm feeling amazing. It is an unimaginable experience and a feeling that I can't even really put into words, just to see the amount of work that they've been over to do in the last 20 years, the stigma that they've been able to overcome, the fighting that they continue to do. And for people like me living with HIV, it's amazing to see that people are still rooting for us.
Okay. Now, you're on the board. To serve on a board for such an important organization as McGregor Clinic here in Fort Myers, you have a task in front of you that's very important. Tell me about your board and how you guys go about making sure that you're doing the right thing for everybody in the area to get tested, to get educated, to have services provided to them. And I know McGregor Clinic takes a holistic approach to the person.
Absolutely. Like Marissa said, the McGregor Clinic is pushing for everyone to hashtag know your status. The mobile testing unit goes out to the community. We have a rapid HIV test. Results are in less than 3 minutes. Sharon Murphy has assembled a board that is passionate about the community. There are members on the board who are affected by HIV and AIDS. There are members who are not. Community partners, patients, clinicians, providers. It's a nice cross-section of our community and a nice representation of everything that Sharon thought of and envisioned when she started the McGregor Clinic at her kitchen table 20 years ago. Our chief governing officer, Brian, is amazing, and he does a lot of work in the community, not only for the McGregor Clinic, but for the LGBTQ community as a whole.
Now, you mentioned Sharon Murphy. Who is Sharon Murphy, and what does she mean to McGregor Clinic?
Sharon Murphy is the McGregor Clinic. Sharon Murphy is the innovator, the creator. Started at her kitchen table 20 years ago. She and our wonderful volunteer, John, she saw a need in our community. She saw a gap in coverage in our community. And from that kitchen table to our 2 campuses today, 3 campuses, because we now have a location in Bonita as well. This has all come out of Sharon Murphy's mind and her heart. And we're so happy to be here today to honor her.
When you look at 20 years of being on the ground, 20 years ago, the stigma around HIV and AIDS was a lot different from what it is now. There's still always that process of continuing to educate people. But when you look back 20 years now to today and think about the progress that has been made, what stands out to you?
I would say that, and I will let Marissa, that HIV and AIDS PrEP medications, I think you can live, work, function in your world free of symptoms. It's not a death sentence anymore. You get diagnosed with HIV, AIDS, you're going to live, you're going to carry on. And in a lot of cases, like our sweet Marissa, you persevere.
Well, as a board member, you talk about this like a doctor.
Okay, well.
So you have to know this stuff, huh? You hear about it in the meetings all the time?
You do, and I think that Sharon and Brian do an excellent job to make sure that we as laymen are educated. We are allies in the struggle, and so they do a great job making sure that we know the most current statistics for our area, what's impacting our area, and they have a very visionary mindset. They're always looking towards the future.
Okay, let's go back over here. The progress that has been made in 20 years has been substantial. What stands out to you?
What stands out to me the most is just the advancement in medications. I mean, you hear stories from 20 years ago when McGregor Clinic first came about individuals that were losing loved ones to HIV and AIDS and complications of AIDS and opportunistic infections, and to now, today, 2019, to be able to live a long, healthy, prosperous life with no limitations. You take a pill a day and you can live your life as if someone who is not living with HIV.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because I remember when I first started covering this back in the 90s. My show has been around for 28 years. And in the early days of McGregor Clinic, I used to hear about, a person may have to take like 15 pills or whatever. I think they call it cocktail or something.
Yes.
And now, as I continue to do these shows, because I've been partnering with them basically since they've been in existence. So I remember when it was in a little small building over there, and it was like, now all this is going on. But now it's down in many cases to just one pill, right? That makes it easier for the patient to follow their regimen. Go ahead.
Correct. So the medications today are still considered a cocktail, but your 1 pill a day is usually made up of about maybe 3 or 4 different types of medications, and it's just 1 pill a day. A lot of the medications do have little to no side effects at all. Really, sometimes maybe just a slight headache or nausea until your body can get adjusted to the medication.
So what does the pill do?
So the pill, what it actually does is, so this is when we get into viral load and CD4, and those are really big words for some people. So the way that the medication works is, when HIV is introduced into your system, it attacks your T cells, your CD4, which is your white blood cell. Your white blood cell is what helps fight off infection. So because HIV comes into your system and fights off those cells, it decreases how effective your immune system is. So when you're taking your medication as prescribed, it actually builds back up those white blood cells and lowers the amount of the virus that is in your body. So now we know that we have U equals U, which is undetectable equals untransmittable, and that is a direct cause to medications today.
Okay, because from my years of doing this, it's not the virus that kills you. When your immune system gets low, you can get pneumonia and things like that, and then that can kill you. So they say people die from complications of HIV and AIDS, right? Elaborate on that.
Yeah, opportunistic infections is what you would see back in the 80s and the 90s, like exactly what you said, Mr. Pitts. But again, with the medical transformations that we've been able to make, that's not the case anymore. There's some wonderful representatives here today for the 20th anniversary celebration who represent some of those pioneering drugs. And also, Walgreens is our AIDS central provider pharmacy, and they're here as well. One other thing I wanted to touch on was the work that Sharon's done here at the clinic has led to acceptance of the virus here in our community. The society has gotten so much farther here in 2019, almost 2020, but also the work that Sharon did in the community to normalize HIV and AIDS. The acceptance has gone. People understand now because of the education efforts, and it's not it's not as much as a stigma as it was, and that's kudos to the amazing staff here.
Okay, shout out to McGregor Clinic. When you're moving around in the community and talking to people, and when you say HIV, AIDS, and get tested and all those things, you see them you get their undivided attention. People tell you their stories now, and they're willing to raise their hand and say, "Hey, I need to get tested. I need to get checked out. I need to get over there." Go ahead.
They are. So, as you said, you've seen me a lot on Facebook. So I'm definitely trying to do a global movement when it comes to HIV
You're
and AIDS
famous.
because I'm Facebook famous, I guess we can say. But
That's
HIV,
These
HIV
days.
and AIDS does not discriminate. So one of my goals has always been to just make sure that I am out there in the community and visible so that people understand the face, if you will, of HIV, because it doesn't have a face, it doesn't discriminate. So to be able to just put my story out there in hopes that I can help other individuals that are living with HIV or people that might be fearful of getting tested to know that, listen, we can be diagnosed with HIV, we can go through a moment of depression or something that might set us back, but we can still prosper, we can still grow, and we can still thrive.
Okay. What are we experiencing here today? Look like hundreds of people are starting to file in. Tell our TV audience what actually is going on here at McGregor Clinic.
This is actually a moment for us to take a deep breath and say thank you. Thank you to Sharon Murphy. Thank you to the outstanding staff. Thank you to the volunteers. This is truly a celebration of everything that McGregor has accomplished over the last 20 years. And this is also hitting a little sneak peek at what the community has to look forward for the next 20 years.
Well, there you go, people. We're going to cover it from end to end. We'll be getting a lot of interviews here. We're going to try to get Walgreens over here, some of the other partners, people like these people who are part of the army that's out there making a difference. And 20 years from now, hopefully we won't even have HIV and AIDS anymore. I think in America, we've had other diseases and epidemics that have been totally eradicated. I'm thinking back in the day we used to have like smallpox and stuff like that. Some of that little stuff might drizzle around, but back in the day it used to kill a lot of people. And shout out to all the scientists out there. You guys are doing a fantastic job in solving some of these problems. So we'll be right back here at McGregor Clinic on Lee Pitts Live.